Hey guys, it's Angel. Welcome back to the channel. I'm apparently people will be my friend. But today we're taking a look at a trainer slash aerobatic aircraft, the Socata TB-30 Epsilon. Now, this aircraft is developed by AzurPoly, who brought us the fantastic Fuga Magister, and it is a piston engine, 300 horsepower, retractable gear, two-seat tandem trainer. Now, it's used by the French and the Spanish militaries. It's used by civilian operators as well. Now, AzurPoly have released quite a few French aircraft, and it's an interesting plane. Of course, it's got some similarities with a few others in the category, older ones, of course, but it's interesting, and it's worth taking a look at. It also has systems complexity and a reasonable price at £16 in the marketplace. So far, it is available just in the marketplace. Now, it comes with a whole pile of liveries, most of which are Apache Aviation and French display team and French Army or Air Force. Either way, here we are in the cockpit of this wonderful aeroplane, and take ourselves outside for a second. We'll take a look at the exterior. Decent texturing, a little bit of oil streaking, which is nice to see. It's always nice to see the attention to detail of actually putting that sort of material in. We have some nice exterior candy as well, in the favour of plugs, pins, and chocks. Always a good thing to see. Now, unlike a lot of these tandem trainers, this one is not a turboprop, which is, I personally think, a good thing. There are going to be a lot of those coming out, and frankly, I'm actually quite glad to see a couple that are not. So we'll have to see how this one goes, of course. But as things go forwards, we're taking a look on the inside. Now, looking around inside the cockpit here, my head is actually working now, so let's just turn that off for a second. It took me 3 or 4 goes to get that to behave itself. You'll notice it on a tablet there. Obviously, this would be worn with a parachute in the seat. Although interesting, actually, because when you look outside, to me, that would say ejection seat, but that's just danger. So, what is it? Is it canopy ejection on this type? I'm not entirely sure. Oh, a little aircraft history, by the way. This aircraft was first flown in 1980, October to be precise, and entered service in 1984. 174 of them were manufactured between 83 and 89, and it still remains in service with Portugal and Senegal, and private commercial owners like, as you saw in the liveries, Apache Aviation. Now, this aircraft is a pretty good aerobatic aircraft and a great touring machine. So good visibility, which is nice. And if you want to feel like you're flying a fighter jet, you've got that opportunity. So let's go back inside here. So it must be a canopy ejection system that's the danger markings, unless it just wants to dress up like a fighter. I'm guessing it's going to be that. Now, we have got all of our usual instruments and equipment in the aircraft. There's our fuel selector down there. 2 tanks left and right. So let's say scroll, that's off, that would be left and right. Internal lighting, which I'm going to just scroll up for a second here to very bright whilst we do a quick night test on the lighting. Flip on my batteries so we get to see this. And let's go to nighttime, shall we? Ooh, pleasant. Glowy and different. I like the red and then the purple. It's quite a nice separation there. Let's go back to daytime here. Crank these back down to low. And we'll take a look at the tablet. Now, as you see here, it's got the stock Asobo 430 GPS module. Now, they supply a mod on the website for both the PMS-50 and the TDS to have the 650 unit in here. So you can have the smaller 650 in your aircraft, which is rather nice to actually have the option. We've got the Garmin G5s here in terms of instrumentation, which is quite a nice upgrade. And let's take a look at this tablet. Now, of course, we can remove parking equipment, we can turn the smoke on, we can hide the co-pilot. We can even close the canopies. Now, you've also got an actual, like a lot of tablets, have the option of things like Garmin Pilot and 4Flight. You do have, that's open, an actual screen here that will show you like those flight instrument packages do. You can even have your waypoints showing, which is rather neat. You've got version histories here, and you've got, okay, very rudimentary systems control. Can I actually do anything with that? Just brightness. Okay. So that is our EFB, and I believe that is turned off with this button here, which gives us access to the controls behind it, the alternator, the master, and starter buttons, a bunch of our alarms. Now, as you'll notice over here, we have a load of, not over there. Where are they? Here we are. A bunch of circuit breakers, all of which do work. So all those systems actually function, which is rather nice to have. And we can go... Where are we? Oh, yeah. Can I reach all the way over here? You can sit in the back cockpit as well as the forward, which is quite a nice ability to do that. Now, for opening the cockpit, you have to release the locking latch, which I believe is on this side here, and grab the handle, click it, and it pulls open. So, nice and simple. Let's get that closed on here. We'll lock the canopy latch. In fact, we'll have it open for the startup and taxi out, and we'll get ourselves going, I think. There we go. We are ready to rock and roll here. Let's crack the throttle a little bit. Let's make sure these are all set where they should be. Let's turn our magnetos and clear prop. Ooh, very rich sound. Very rich sound, I like that. And loud too. Manageable with the canopy closed. So let's get that here. 300 horses you can definitely feel behind this aircraft. It has quite the potency. The sound is incredibly throaty in this aircraft. I love it. Give it a notch there. So our rotator speed is 70 and our stall speed will be in the 60s. So we have our rough numbers here. And oh, before we go anywhere, actually, it has not loaded in. That's unfortunate. I actually have a mod now for an Avenger hangar right there by parking 8. For some reason, it's not displaying. Welcome to Flight Sim and how it likes to keep hold of things. Made for me by the wonderful Mr. Is that back one closed? It is not closed. Let's pop up the EFB for a second and make our co-pilot do it, shall we? Even quieter. Nice. Okay, so we'll get ourselves out of here. That was photos by Kev actually made it for me. You'll probably see it in a future video. I thought it would be visible now, but Flight Sim did not want to display it for some unknown reason. Okay, let's get ourselves out here. Let's get my exterior camera actually ready so we can show you guys when we actually take off the landing gear. It's always nice to show that. So I'm going to throttle up here. Picks up speed very rapidly. Easy to control on the runway. Just lift the nose gently off the ground. Flaps coming up. Let's get the pitch control before we actually pull the gear in. Because she's still a little nose down. Pretty standard retraction. And rather quick as well. Now I will say this does give you the feeling of being in a fighter jet. It really has that kind of visibility, versatility. I'm quite enjoying this actually. The wind sound against the canopy as well feels great because you forget how close you actually are to the wind whipping past the sides of your head. Let's give her a little twirl, shall we? Not bad. Hello world. Let's bring the nose down a little bit here. And Pull it up and over the top if she wants to go. Bring her around. Pick her up again. A very well balanced aircraft that does what you're asking it to. The dynamics of the wind sound changing are really rich. I quite enjoy that. Got power up here. Engine sounds very nice, actually. It has this weird look of this aircraft that's modern and retro at the same time, with the piston engine and the very sleek lines of the canopy. It has kind of a mentor look to it, I think. But no, it really does have this very weird vibe. For an aircraft designer built in the 80s, it has this modern, slick look with a piston engine up front that almost looks like it's like they've taken a Tucano and slapped a piston engine on the front. It's weird, but I like it. Let's bring in for a landing, shall we? Performance impact, negligible. It's pretty darn good from what I'm seeing here. No irritating bleeps there. Speed is good to drop gear. Runway in sight off our left. Important note, can I... No, I can't click and drag that, but who cares? So there's smoke there. Are we smoking? We are smoking. Can I see it properly? Yeah, we're smoking. Don't smoke, kids. It's bad for your health. That's our nav source, and I've drifted off target whilst looking at the smoke. So I'll give it a little bit of that. Our prop, or gear, I should say, and flap indicators are next to each other. On the front of us there, so we've got full flaps deployed, 3 green on the landing gear, right there above the radios. Okay, we're looking good here. A little on the slower end, but we're just fine. I think I'm being a little overly cautious for the first landing. Little twitchy on approach, but not bad. Obviously, it's a very nimble aircraft, so it's going to be a little twitchy than a lot, but little bit hairy. I'm very much slow now. I think I'm coming about 60 knots here, or just over that. Just short. Oh, I dropped a wing there at the end. That was a horrible landing. I was way too slow. I don't think I need full flaps for this. I think you come in faster with more flap and you'll be just fine. In fact, let's go around and make that a second try, because I'm horrified by that landing. There we go. Clear the runway. Gear up. In transition. Yeah, that was a clunker of a landing. I dropped a wing, recovered it just in time to slap into the runway. I was trying to pull the nose up so I didn't come short of the display threshold there. Honestly, I kind of want to fly this a little bit more. I'm sorry for the excuse, but it's a fun little plane. It's a bit of a niche aircraft, I'll admit, being a French trainer aircraft, an aerobatic aircraft. It hasn't got a huge global appeal, but in terms of being an interesting plane to fly, with obviously the TDS and PMS 50s for the 650, GTN 650 instrumentation, the moving map you've got, of course, on here. You know, it's a nice selection of systems to make for a good GA tourer. So you've got great visibility here. You'll be able to see where you're going and flying and enjoy that flight. You've got instrumentation to navigate. You've got the radio stacks, of course, as well, to allow you to use the VR heads. Night lighting is good. Systems all function. It's a pretty nice little aeroplane, and it does simulate hydraulic failures and other systems like that, so you may actually have to do a manual drop, which of course is selecting down and pulling the actual release on the gear, which will actually do... No, we won't do it because we're not actually... You know what, we'll simulate a failure. Where's our hydraulic? Is that us? No, that's my actual engines. Never mind. So to put the gear down. Okay, we've got a failure, so we have to put the gear down. And we will pull this. To actually drop the gear. It's already done it because it was pretty quick in gravity releases. I'm pretty sure these are electric, so... We still have flap authority. Of course, all the control surface linkage is manual, so the only thing really is the gear. But that emergency drop does function. Let's put this away so I can actually focus on what I'm doing here. And we'll keep our speed a little bit higher. We are quite low again. So I will speed up here. The wind noise is a little distracting from my mind, I think. Altered air sources, rudder pedal settings. Of course, down here with taxi lighting. Slow again. This thing wants to slow down really rapidly. Like, it wants to slow down more than I'd like it to. So we'll keep some more throttle in here. It feels like it needs throttle to fly, which seems like a weird thing to say, but what I mean that is a lot of aircraft will happily sit there and not bleed off speed, and for a streamlined aircraft like this, it's rather draggy, because it wants to drop its speed very quickly. Okay, we're actually a bit warm now, so I'm going to throttle back here. Good heading. I wonder, have they simulated any drag effects? I'm going to approach with the canopy open. It suddenly feels brighter. And I don't know if they're actually simulating this, but I need more power now to keep my speed up. No. And I accelerate. Huh. Did they simulate canopy drag? That's cool if they did. Okay. Bringing her in here. A little bit off there, but we're okay. It's a spirited little aircraft with some interesting quirks, I've got to say. Speed is a little low, put some power in. Much better. Much better. Much better. And we're exiting early. So it could stop. For sure. Oh, with the hydraulic failure, my nose wheel steering's kind of potato right now. I don't know if that's a simulated feature or something I'm just experiencing, but... Let's rely on our brakes a little bit more. Canopy's still unlocked, so we'll just slide this open. It just really feels like I'm going to have wind blowing in my face right now, and that we're in an aircraft with the canopy open. It's probably one of the throatier sounding engines. Oh god, that steering is rough right now. Assist it with the brakes here. Ooh, this is an experience to fly. I think now we're starting to get an aircraft in every category, from complex LSAs to... GA planes with the likes of the Pipers. No, that's my smoke. I'm an idiot. Parking brake set. So we have complex LSAs. We have complex GA in terms of the Pipers. We have, as I roll the camera around here, complex twins in terms of Milviz 310. We have complex business. We have complex airliners. We have complex larger twins. Now we've got complex aero trainers. an aerobatic aircraft, which is really fun that we're starting to get a variety of aircraft. And whilst I would never have looked at this before, I actually rather like it. I look forward to seeing what liveries people create for it, but I think this is good. And for £16, or about $20 to $22, $3, I'm not sure what the equivalents will be, it's in that cheaper end of the market where we've seen some trash come out for £20. And then this is 16. Bargain. Really well made, looks good in terms of textures, and quite a fun little plane. An experience to fly as well. Something that I think Flight Sim's about is that experience. Now, I bought this with my own money. I really can't find many faults other than, well, they include like 6 or so Apache Aviation liveries, which are all just plain black. Could have done some privately owned ones in different colour schemes, maybe some more variety in there. But this is interesting, and I rather enjoy it, so I'll give this a high score. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and I will see you all next time. Au revoir.